Doing pretty good. Ready to get this thing started. Appreciate the hearts. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started today. If this is your first time checking this out live, or if you're replaying this right now, I like your accent. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. If this is your first time checking this out live, or if this is a replay, then these are live lessons that I'm doing every Wednesday. And I'm doing this at 9 a.m. on Eastern Standard Time. So basically, these live lessons are a chance to help you build a good foundation with your hands for drumming. These are the building blocks that a lot of people they were either never taught this, or they never took the time to learn it, or they didn't know about it. So anyway, it's just a good way to build a foundation to better hand technique. So, sounds like you're from South Carolina. I am from North Carolina. So you were close. I'm about 45 minutes away from South Carolina. Alright, so check this out. There is a free PDF. If you're following me on Twitter, then you should have seen yesterday. You should have seen where I posted the free PDF you could download. And this is on the Triplet accent grid. There's 2 pages to this. And that's what we're about to get started on. So if you haven't downloaded that yet, you can go ahead and do so. It's over at mattdudleydrumming.com. Or also, if you follow me on Twitter, at mattdudleydrums, you can go there and find the link where that's posted at. Alright, so basically, what is a triplet? Okay, for some of you, if you have already learned this stuff, bear with me, because there might be someone who hasn't. So check this out. The first thing we're going to do is, how do we count 8th note triplets? There's a couple of ways, and I always say let's just make it as simple as possible. So it's a group of 3 notes, correct? So if we're looking at our handout, we're looking at these triplets here, groups of 3, right? And in this case, just in this example, we're going to be alternating these. So basically, we could count this as 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, or you can count it as 1 lolly, 2 lolly, 3 lolly, 4 lolly. That sounds kind of silly, right? All right. And then we have groups of 3, which we can just say 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So either way, whatever makes it easier for you, that's the way that you should approach this. So again, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, or 1 lolly, 2 lolly, 3 lolly, 4 lolly, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, stop. Now what I would do is I would practice just playing these triplets at a slow tempo until you get comfortable before you move on. But in this case, we've got to move on. So if we're looking at the handout, section 1 is individual hands. Okay, so we're going to be playing these groups of 3, these triplets, 8th note triplets, on just the right hand, then on just the left hand. Okay, and what we're dealing with is we're going back to the 4 basic stroke types. And this is something that I've been stressing the past 2 lessons, is that we keep an eye on those accents and we keep those tap strokes low. So the accent's going to come up, the tap stroke's going to stay low. So we want everything to be clean and uniform. So section 1, individual hands. Let's jump into that. That's going to be just the right. And what I'm going to do for this, instead of putting my metronome on quarter notes, I've put it on 8th note triplets. See that at the bottom where it says tap? So that way I'm going to be hitting every note. that comes up on this. Okay, that way I can work on my accuracy. So if you notice the timing or the tempo there, we're at 50. We're going to take this super slow because this lesson is all about building those mechanics. It's all about taking everything super slow, learning these motions, giving your brain time to process all these motions, and then you can take this on your own and speed it up and build everything up. So, again, this is not a race. This is about building proper technique. So let's start this off at 50. So we hear that one. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, dot, 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 dot. All right. Here we go. Section 1, individual hands, just the right. 1, 2, ready, play. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, stop. Good job. Good job. All right, now we're going to move on to the left hand. Again, we want to keep those accents. The accents are big. The non-accented notes are tap strokes that are going to be low, right? With the left. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, stop. Good. Good job. Good job. If you're playing along, good job. Again, we're playing all this stuff slow because we're trying to record all these hand movements, these motions. And our brain, we're trying to give our brain time to process all this information. This is all about technique. We're playing everything slow. We're going by the motions, and then you can take this stuff later and speed it up. Again, this is building a proper foundation to good hand technique. All right, so next, we're going to be unison. So we're doing both hands at the same time. And this, in my case, I'm looking at my iPad, which I'm broadcasting through Periscope. And what I'm looking at is trying to keep these stick heights the same. So again, we're going to start this off at 50. We're going in unison. Everybody that's watching, appreciate you being here this morning. Section 2, in unison. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, stop. If you notice, the second to the last measure, all of those are accented, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If you notice, whenever I get to the very last triplet, when I get to the very last 8th note there, going into the non-accented triplets, I play a downstroke. That way I've prepared myself for the next move, which are those tap strokes. So if I play that again, I'll show you. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, So you see how that puts me down to be able to play those non-accented notes. All right. I have to keep opening my phone. So now we're going to go to alternating strokes. This is section 3. So now we're going to be going between the right and the left. Hope everybody's doing good with this so far. If you got any questions at any point, please feel free to comment. And if you're watching this as a replay, then feel free to shoot me a message through Twitter. You can email me, mattdudleydrumming@gmail.com. So, let's move on. All right, section 3, alternating. Again, we're at 50 BPM, and this is with 8th note triplets. Here we go, section 3. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2, 1, 2, stop. That one might be a little bit tougher, but you got it. All right. Next, we have right hand lead. Now, these leads are pretty cool if you're doing this behind the kit. So, you could be playing this between the hi-hat and the snare. So, these are really cool. Right hand lead is going to be the accent will be on the right hand, and then the tap strokes are going to be on the left hand. Here we go, at 50. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, stop. If you notice, I made a massive mistake on measure 5. So let's start from 5 and go all the way down to the end. Pop. Here we go. Section 4, right hand lead. We're going to start on the 5th measure and go all the way to the end just because I messed it up. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, stop. Good job. Good job. All right. Hope everybody's still doing good. Section 5, we're going to do the same concept, but this is going to be left hand lead. So the left hand is going to play the accent, and the right hand is going to play all the tap strokes. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, stop. Again, mistakes. It must be because it's so early this morning. Let's play that one again. Section 5, left hand lead. And let's see if I can do this without messing it up again. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, stop. Good job, good job. So that's it. That's the whole handout. So we've gone through individual hands, being able to work on those accents, those stick heights. Again, if you have a mirror or a tablet, anything with a screen on it that you can mirror what you're doing so you can keep an eye on your hands, that would be great to put in front of you whenever you're playing these exercises. That way you keep, that way you keep the stick heights uniform, especially when you do these strokes, the unison together. You want to keep everything uniform as possible and be able to keep those tap strokes low. So that comes from playing the downstroke, those accent patterns. Like in the first measure of each one, when you play that first accent, that's going to be a downstroke. Regardless if it's individual hands, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Unison or alternating. So what I'm doing is that downstroke, I'm stopping about 2 to 3 inches above the pad or drum, whichever one you're using. So it's just this motion here. So from the side, it would be and I'm not really killing these movements as far as I'm not pounding the note in, but I'm changing the height. So I'm coming from a downstroke perspective here. If you could practice that motion again, going back to the stroke types, that's the most important thing. That full stroke, let's go through those real quick, by the way. So we've got 4, for those of you just tuning in for the first time, the 4 basic stroke types that are crucial. You're going to have the full stroke, starts high, ends high. That's the full stroke or rebound stroke. Then you have the downstroke, starts high, ends low. Then you have the tap stroke, starts low, ends low. Then you have the upstroke, which is going to start low and end high. So notice with that, I'm just tapping, and when I tap, I pull up. So we got full, down, tap, up. Full, down, tap, up. Full, down, tap, up. Full, down, tap, up. So if you could memorize those, that would be great. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this lesson. I'm trying to keep these 15 to 20 minutes. We're at 21 minutes right now. And probably 18 of those minutes were spent on this lesson. Again, you can get these handouts, free PDF packet. If you're following me on Twitter at mattdudleydrums, or you can go to my website, mattdudleydrumming.com, and I've got a section called Live Lessons. So every time I do one of these, as soon as I finish, I start uploading it to YouTube, and then I've got it where it'll live forever, and you can go back and replay these lessons and download these free packets. Again, it's a free PDF, so I write these things out and give them away. Hope everybody got something out of this lesson today. And again, if you have any questions about anything, feel free to shoot me a message or email me. And yeah, we'll keep doing these things. Right now, I'm going to continue to try to do this Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I don't know. I might test something out in the future where I might do this later in the day or even at nighttime. So depending on what works best for other people. So I might just do some test runs here and there at different times just to try it out, see where I get the most engagement from. But right now, this has been pretty cool. I've had a few people, especially you, Nikki, that have stuck with me through all three of these things. And yeah, good stuff. I hope that this helps people out. And this is also something where I want you to download these PDFs ahead of time. You'll see that on Twitter whenever I post these up. That way you can get your pad and drum with me at the same time. So this will be kind of like a drum hang on top of a lesson. And yeah, again, thank you so much, Nikki. Appreciate that. So everybody, thank you again, and I'll see you next Wednesday.